English League Cup time. We're back. The same opposition again. West Ham United. We're going to see a lot of changes to this, I would expect. Jose Mourinho seems to be shuffling his pack a lot more than he has done at previous clubs, which is a bit worrying. To be honest, he still hasn't worked out his settled team. The same certainly happened under David Moyes. Certainly didn't know his best lineup. And I'm worried that we're not getting any consistency. You look at Conte at Chelsea, he seems to have got a settled side. When they started winning and playing better football, he kept that same system and the same team out there. And he hasn't looked back. They've won 7 games in a row. Manchester United had a decent performance against Feyenoord. True, it was against dog shit opposition at Old Trafford, but he played pretty well. Then he did change it. I was a bit disappointed in that game against West Ham that Wayne Rooney didn't play, because I thought he was decent against Feyenoord, and I think that he's a player that needs to be playing games when he performs. He needs to get on a run. When he gets on a run of scoring goals, he usually scores in a bunch of goals, and then it dries up, and then he scores in a bunch again. So that was a bit disappointing, because he could have gone on a run of games where he scores in. Who knows? I mean, I know he's probably completely past his prime, but you never know. He could score 2 or 3 in consecutive games, but we never saw that. I would expect him to come back into the team for this game. I would expect a few changes to the lineup. We never saw no Martial in that game either. That is worrying, how bad he's playing this season. I've said that before. I'm really worried, because we really need to get him scoring goals again. At the back, he may choose to go for Romero, but I think he'll probably stick with David De Gea. This is a must-win game for Manchester United. We can't afford to lose it, because we'll be out the cup. True, some people don't want to win it, but this could be the only chance of silverware this season. We've got some difficult teams left in it, Liverpool and Arsenal, so it's not going to be easy at all, but we've got to go for it, I think. Whatever team he puts out on the pitch, even if he changes it, we've still got to go for it and win this game at Old Trafford. That's all you can do. Get in that semi-final. Then if you can win the semi-final over 2 legs, then it will be a lottery in that final game. He's won it so many times before, 3 or 4 times before. I think it's 3 times before at Chelsea. So he's got a fantastic record in this. I know he usually likes to put a full-strength team out in this. At Chelsea, he has done. It's good to get that first trophy under your belt. Certainly as Manchester United manager, it will get that monkey off its back. It will ease a bit of pressure. It will show that he's still got that winning mentality. As I say, David De Gea will probably be in goal. I would expect Luke Shaw to come back in. I wasn't too surprised to see him out the team for the first of the 2 West Ham games, because he's been injured and in and out at the moment. I don't think it's good for him to play 2 games in that quick succession. He probably will play Valencia at right back, could play Fosa Mensah. I'm not too sure what's happened to him. I'm not sure if he's injured or what. Blin will probably come back in. Maybe Rojo, I'm not too sure. We will have to wait and see. Hopefully Carrick will be fit, because we've got problems in midfield. It's probably going to have to be Carrick and Herrera in there, because Pogba and Fellaini are both out of this game. So we haven't got... He may even play a midfield 3 of Herrera and Schweinsteiger and Carrick, or he may play Schneidlin in there as well. We'll have to wait and see. Could Schweinsteiger make a comeback in this game? It will be some of them players anyway in there. Maybe a midfield 2. Then out wide, Mkhitaryan's got to come back in. I think we're going to see Wayne Rooney somewhere in there, whether he's playing out wide or in that number 10 role. Zlatan's going to play up front, pretty sure of that, because Jose Mourinho is going to want to get this victory. He's got a point to prove at Manchester United. He's a wounded animal, and he's going to want to win this competition. He's going to want to get some form of silverware this season. He's certainly not going to want to go a whole season without silverware at Manchester United, considering the money and the big club he's at. Hopefully we'll see Martial maybe given a run out as well on one hand side as well. We will have to wait and see. Rashford's been pretty in and out in form lately. He hasn't scored for about 9 or 10 games, which is worrying. Had a great chance against West Ham. I think Mata will probably come out for this game, so Rooney will probably go in that number 10. Mkhitaryan and Martial out wide. That's if he plays a midfield 2 or midfield 3. We will have to wait and see. Schneidlin hasn't been given a lot of football at all lately. Could he come in, as I say? But Schweinsteiger is ready. Could he? I mean, he was on the bench for that game at the first one against West Ham. I was wondering if we'd see him, but obviously with the game at 1-1, we were probably never going to see him come into the team. Hopefully Carrick, as I say, is fit. He had a strain for that game We do miss Carrick, which is worrying. We're missing a 36 or whatever he is, year old player, and we're relying on a 36-year-old striker to score all our goals. It is really worrying. We've got a hard game against Everton coming up as well in that next Premier League game. But for me, I think the league's just fucked up now. So, to be honest, I'm just hopeful that Manchester United can win a trophy this season, get something, even if we can't get in that Champions League through the fourth spot, at least get some silverware under our belt to salvage something out the season like we did last season, winning the FA Cup, salvage something out of a disastrous season, because at least winning silverware is the main aim of the game. You look back at seasons where like teams like Arsenal finish fourth and you don't think, well, it was so good to finish fourth, do you? You look back and you think, well, at least that season we won the League Cup or the FA Cup, so it wasn't completely and utterly dog shite. And players get a medal out of it. I mean, that's what it's all about for the players, getting a medal. We should be seeing Andy Carroll in this game, which is going to probably cause Manchester United problems from West Ham. He didn't feature in that game at Old Trafford in the Premier League, and from what I heard from the reporters, they were saying that he's being saved to potentially start against us in this League Cup game. West Ham are going to be up for it. It's a good opportunity for them to get that monkey off their back as well, because they haven't won a trophy for a long while. They could potentially have a good go at it, because I would expect both Arsenal and Liverpool to be prioritising the Premier League. So one of these two sides has got a great chance in this competition of getting through and probably winning the has got a good chance of winning it if they can both put strong lineups out. So we will have to wait and see. But because it's at Old Trafford, I'm hopeful that Manchester United won't lose it. We're not losing games at Old Trafford, but we're not winning many. That is the worrying thing. But I'm going to put my neck on the line and say Manchester United are going to win this game 2-1. I'm not too sure what other players West Ham are going to pick. I'm not too sure if Payet's going to play. But obviously he put a fantastic ball in them first few minutes. And we've got to be wary of him. His delivery into the box is great. His free kicks are great as well. He doesn't score so many goals, but he is deadly. He hasn't been as good as well as he was last season, but he's still a quality player. They've got other players. Sacco scored obviously in that game. They've got Lanzini. Antonio is their top scorer at the moment. So we're going to have players to watch out for. Again, their goalkeeper was man of the match in that game. Hopefully he's not man of the match in this game, and Manchester United can put a couple past West Ham and get through. As I say, I'm going for 2-1 to Manchester United. I'm hopeful that in this game, Manchester United have got to win the game to progress through to the next round. I'm hopeful that we can do it in the 90 minutes as well. This is a real worry. We don't want this game to drag on past 90 minutes because we've got a lot of football to play. Luckily, the Europa League is almost done and dusted, so we can put that to bed till next year and concentrate on hopefully only having a couple of games a week plus this League Cup few games if we do get through to the final, because it's going to be really congested if we do get through to the final and we progress far in the Europa League. We could be looking at sort of 60 plus games this season, which is going to be a huge amount of games. But the thing is, we do actually have a decent sized squad. We've got players that aren't even getting a game, like I mentioned, Schneidlin, Memphis Depay's not getting a game. I mean, Martial wasn't on the bench. We've got a big squad of players. Fosu Mensah hasn't had a lot of football lately. Bay has still got to come back into the team. And we've probably got other players in the U team that could probably step in too. Zebi could step in. There is a lot of strength in depth in the squad. It's just whether they're good enough to come in when called upon and perform, which often they haven't performed anywhere near their ability when these players have come in. But I'm not too keen on the chopping and changing what he's done a lot recently in the team. But if you're winning games, people never talk about it. But at this moment in time, we're just not winning the games. The performances haven't been terrible, but we're just not winning. I'm hopeful at some point Manchester United could really put a team to the sword and prove that because we are creating the chances, just put someone to the sword and prove that Manchester United are not dead. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See you.